Hello and welcome to a brand new adventure. We're actually here at the Scarborough Fair Collection and we're going to be heading in and having a look at all they've got to offer. Now, it is not just a fairground. They have traction engines, showman's engines, vintage cars, bit of everything, and fairground rides. So join me for a little wander round and see what they have. Okay, let's head inside. And a couple of, well, I want to call them traction engines, but I know that these are showman's engines, scale models anyway. Martin Zero, eat your heart out. First thing we come to when we head inside is a traditional fairground favourite, a Hall of Mirrors. And then the first thing you hit here is a 1960s collection by the looks of it. Lots of vintage gramophones and record players, you name it. Anyway, here we go. Let's see what we have. So the first room we come into is the Ballroom, which was built as a purpose show venue so they could put shows on. And they have a load of vintage organs and Wurlitzers all around the walls. Now this one, I'm told, is quite a rare organ here, a William Tell. And as you can see here, a couple of organs in the corner and then a grand Wurlitzer right in the middle there. Shall we go in the pipe room whilst he's playing the Wurlitzer? So here we are in the pipe room. So you've seen the two Wurlitzer consoles outside in the ballroom. Now the main one on the stage, the large one, that can power or use any of these pipes in here or instruments. I mean, just look at the size of these pipe rooms. You don't realise what is actually hidden behind the stage when you see these Wurlitzers. You always think it is just the console that's making the noise, but it isn't. I mean, this room is ginormous, and everywhere you get a Wurlitzer, you've got to have this kind of room behind there for all the pipes to sit in so it can play. So when you see the ones at Winter Gardens or the Blackpool Tower, they've all got pipe chambers hidden away or under the stage or under the floor, containing all these different instruments. Now, it's worth a mention, but this whole place is all a private collection of one person. It's their hobby, it's what they love. Now, what an accolade that is to have all these things in your collection. So now we're heading into the second shed, which is the larger of the sheds. And as you can see behind me, we've got fairground rides all the way down here. Again, more vintage cars behind me. This time, these are a lot of 60s models. So you probably saw half of these in Heartbeat at some point. Okay, let's hop aboard some fairground rides. I'm dying to get on these. So they've even got an old-fashioned vintage carousel here. So let's go take a ride on that. It's a bit tame for me, that, but good fun nonetheless. And in the words of Jane MacDonald, that were right good, that. So I've come for a ride on what I would call the Speedway. We used to have these at our local fair when I was a kid. And I used to love these because you used to be able to stand up on them as well and mess around. Not today, but you used to be able to. This is going to be nostalgic for me, so let's go. actually running at full pelt. I didn't expect it for an indoor ride, but it did go full whack, just like I remember it on the fairground. They've even got a vintage ghost train. I can't resist. Okay, let's take a ride on the vintage ghost train. I love these kind of rides. So basically you pay an entrance fee to come in as a museum, and then there's a small charge on a few of the rides, and that is it. Everything else is pretty much included. Bring yourself, have a wander around. If you love steam engines, traction engines, anything like that, you will absolutely love this place. So just behind me, we've got a showman's living van, which is known as the Tortoise. So shall we go take a look inside? I've always wanted to see inside one of these. So this is known as the Tortoise. It's a travelling showman's caravan, temporary lodgings basically. So when they're on the circuit, this is where they would live. Now it's not very big, it's not even as big as a static caravan, but it's quite efficiently used inside. I'll just show you over here. Dining quarters there, an actual full-size fireplace with a mantel, and then a fully fledged bedroom with a sink as well, an ensuite. Decent sized bed. Yeah, they're actually a lot bigger, a lot more efficient than you think. So just behind me we've got a traditional cakewalk as well. Do you remember these? So just behind me we've got a very famous traction engine known, as you lot will probably already know, as the Iron Maiden. Now, it wasn't originally called that. It was called the Iron Maiden because of the film that it featured in called Iron Maiden. But it was actually called, and I'll zoom in for you and show you. So you can see the original nameplate just up there. It was called the Kitchener before, but now known famously as the Iron Maiden. So you've just seen the Iron Maiden, which in the traction engine world is a celebrity. However, in the opinion of the guys here, this one is much better, and that's His Lordship, which is much more powerful than the Iron Maiden. Let's take a look at His Lordship. And we're up on the footplate now, so I'm just going to give you a quick tour around. So here's my current view, looking forward on the traction engine. And what did you say this was, Chris?
So this selects forward and reverse, so it changes the motion to make it easier for the piston to go in the right direction. So you're going backwards obviously to go reverse, forward to go full forward for forward, and if you generate in you go to what they call a working position, which is normally about 2 notches back to about there. This one's a regulator, so same as a car, you put your foot down when you actually go, but obviously on an engine you don't have the foot pedal.
But I also got told off for calling them traction engines, because technically they are showman's traction engines, because it is a traction engine, but it also has this dynamo on the front of it, which powers the fairground rides. So these were traditionally used for pulling large fairground rides around on tour, a bit like these ones here. And then they could be powered from the dynamo on board and run the fairground rides as well. So the natural progression from traction engines or showman's traction engines was then in the 1930s or thereabouts. They then progressed to trucks just like this one. This is a show track truck. And apparently there was only ever 18 of these made in the UK, and this is one of 12 that survive today. But as you can see, a lot smaller than a traction engine. But it did power the fairground rides as well, so exactly the same, just a completely different mode of transport. So in this room we've got more vehicles again, so a lot of vintage vehicles, including this genuine traction engine. So this is Endurance from 1885, which is a traditional agricultural traction engine, so I'm told. So right here is something that I've never seen before, and I'm told that they're quite rare. And it is a steam-powered car. I've never seen one of these. Let's take it. So there you go, 1911, a Stanley steam car, 10 horsepower, or a Stanley steamer. So if you're into your tractors, they have a lot of those here too. and a lot of agricultural machinery and plenty of working trucks. But everything in this venue, I am told, works 100%. They can all be driven and moved and operated. And a lot of it does still tour around the UK on regular shows and steam rallies, etc. Just here we've got a Foden steam wagon called the Queen Mary. So again, I'd never seen an actual steam car, but now there's a steam wagon. And look at these old fire engines. Going right back in time. Right back to one of the original fire engines over here. Again, a steam fire engine. Check that out. There's one here for you, David. An old omnibus. So you may have all heard of Albion buses and trucks, but have you heard of Albion cars? Of course you did. Anyway, there's two fine examples of Albion vehicles here, and again, I'm told that these are very rare. Now this Albion truck here, I'm told, has some very valuable cargo. Now these tins in here, they're just tins for carrying fuel, and apparently they're very rare these days, and they're worth quite a bit, these tins. And he's just told me, apparently, £8,000 worth of tins on that truck there. Now I've just said to him, if you filled it with fuel, it'll be worth 50 grand, especially at today's prices. We've got an old Albion army truck here. I'm told rescued from the Somme. They were all left to rot away, but this one was rescued and restored. So they're about to play the Oktoberfest organ, so let's hear it playing. Now that is from the Munich Oktoberfest in Germany, and we're going to go behind the scenes now and nip inside and just have a quick look at how it works in there. So here we've got Paul, he's going to show us briefly behind the scenes.
Yeah, basically this is where all the air comes in and goes up into the, into the box where the valves are, which sends the air to these different valves. Come right down, so we come right down here as well, we go right to the very end, and then you've got your drums.
You've got the blowers down there, that's for the air,
the main
for the
blower,
pipes.
and the pipes go in. Hook in like that, bring this down.
So there you go, that's how it runs. And over here you can see all the various songs that they've got here. So we've got YMCA, got polka songs, Auld Lang Syne, Can Can. Plenty of mega hits down there. It's like a blooming Now collection, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it runs on what they call bucks now, but it can run on these old paper rolls. But as he just said, they are very, very rare and expensive to replace. So just behind me, we've got a Mortier organ. Now apparently these are very, very rare and also very famous in the world of fairground organs. Now this dates back all the way to 1910-ish, we think. Bit of Bohemian Rhapsody. Mamma mia, Figaro. You ready? Well, I hope you enjoyed our visit and our look at the Scarborough Fair Collection. And a big thank you to the legend Tom for inviting us down today and showing us around the whole collection. But if you want to visit the Scarborough Fair Collection, it is literally on the main road between Scarborough and Filey, right next to the Blue Dolphin and the Flower of May holiday park, so it's easy to find. Get yourself down here and have a good look round, it's well worth it. But anyway, thanks for joining us. From me and Tom, we're going to see you next week. Bye!